Namaste. 21st of March 2023 marks 100 years of Mataji, as she is very, very fondly known by her followers, Srimati Nirmala Devi ji, the founder and perhaps the propagator of Sahaja Yoga. Joining us now is Smita Jaisalmeria ji from the USA and Harvinder Singh from Delhi. My namaste to both of you. Thank you very much for joining us. Let me first ask you, you're both Sahaja Yoga practitioners. So Smita ji, can you explain to our viewers what is Sahaja Yoga?
So Sahaja Yoga is nothing but simply the awakening of your primordial energy, which is known as Kundalini, which lies in every human being in a dormant state until it is awakened. And as soon as we ask God our self-realization, we immediately get it because the Kundalini awakens. It crosses our fontanelle bone area, and as a result, we feel thoughtless, and we feel vibrations in our hands. So this is the biggest happening in a life of a human being, and it is the most difficult thing to awaken Kundalini in the yogic kriya.
So Harvinder ji, tell me, why is Kundalini awakening so difficult? Because if I know a little bit of yoga and science, then Kundalini sits right at the bottom of the spine, and it actually transcends. Those who practice Sahaja Yoga, they say you don't need to go through the various different aspects of stepwise meditation or progression towards understanding or self-realization. This process directly addresses that. So can you explain to us why is it so difficult?
Anandji, the Kundalini was difficult to awaken, because I think in the previous times, what used to happen is that the gurus, who were realized souls, as we used to call them, they used to select their disciples, and they used to take them through a process and make sure that they're ready for the Kundalini and they used to call it cleansing process, so that they're ready for the Kundalini awakening. Now, through modern Sahaja Yoga, what has really happened is the process is kind of reversed. So what happens is Kundalini awakening, it's become much easier now. And the process of cleansing follows after that when you start practicing this meditation more and more. So it used to be a difficult task because there was a way of doing it earlier, because let's say the mankind was not ready at the mental and the spiritual level at that time for the mass realization. Today, the process is completely reversed, and now it's much easier. And that's how it happens in Sahaja Yoga.
You are based in the US, Mitaji. Correct me if I'm wrong, Sahaja Yoga as a practice, or even yoga as a practice, now seems to be taking on across the world. And more importantly, it is irreligious. It's more a science, if you like, yoking yourself to the universe or to the divine power, that's the feminine. So how is the response or the acceptance of Sahaja Yoga?
So it is really widely accepted in US also. People are now realizing that, talking about peace, just talking about peace doesn't really gives you peace within. So unless you have peace within, you cannot spread peace in the world. And with the Kundalini awakening, you become peaceful, and that's how you spread this peace in the world. So this is, and US is very open when it comes to spirituality. So people are very open here. They really want to experiment. And this is a tangible feeling that you can feel on your fingertips, you can feel on top of your head. So people know when they come to our centers or when they attend our online sessions, they feel it. They feel peaceful. Not many people feel vibrations in their hands at the first time, but they do feel peaceful. And they always say that, this is really different.
But Harvinder ji, how is life different before and after you practice Sahaja Yoga? Because you said it's like reverse the process. So you don't need to cleanse yourself first to get to the stage where you can awaken your Kundalini. You awaken your Kundalini and then cleanse yourself. So how is life different?
Anandji, let me just put it this way. It is a living process, and it transforms you. So it's like you sow a seed, it becomes a plant, it becomes a tree, it takes a little bit of a time. And similarly, human beings grow. So when you talk about evolution, Sahaja Yoga, in terms of it's your internal growth, it's your internal evolution towards spiritual growth. It takes a bit of time, and it's not a magical process. Nothing will happen overnight to you, but it can happen within a week, depending on how dedicatedly you're doing it every day, because you need to bring it in practice. In terms of the changes, I would say from the mental level to the emotional level to the spiritual level, it is a stage that you see, the transformation that you see almost every day. So I've been practicing Sahaja Yoga for the last 17 years. Mentally, it makes you very, very resilient. Emotionally, it makes you very strong in terms of dealing with the circumstances, the situations. It brings you back to balance in terms of when things are affecting you badly. And then spiritually, depending what kind of desire you have to grow in the spiritual world and your spiritual life, it helps you further to grow. And the best part is it is tangible. It is not about giving lectures. It's not about following a certain code or whatever it is. It is tangible that you can really feel on your system, on your body, on your nervous system, like you feel summers or winters, you feel different kind of weather. Similarly, you can feel it. So it's very, very tangible. And that's how you keep growing and you keep experiencing that transformation every day.
So you are saying that there is one in your day-to-day life, how it affects your life. The other one is the progression that you want to make from material to the spiritual. So go beyond what your current worldly desires and what your aspirations are. But what is the state of Vilamb, Smitaji? And academically, if you were to explain to somebody, how would you explain it?
So when your Kundalini awakens, it takes you from the central channel and it brings you into a balance. So as a result, when Kundalini awakens, you become thoughtless. So thoughtless is also known as state of Vilamb because this is the difference of time between your past and future. So when your Kundalini awakens, you are not worried about your past or you're not fearful about your future, but you are right there in present state, where you are not worried at all. You enjoy your life.
But this is when you're saying, if I'm not worried about the past, I'm not worried about the future, Arvinderji, that means I'm getting into a state where there is no thought. So I'm getting into a state of awareness of being without thinking, or you're somewhere your mind is not doing the dance that it does always. So, but how does that help a common man?
See, what happens is a lot of people, when I talk to about Sahaja Yoga, and the first thing we talk about thoughtless awareness, and people say, we are in business, I have a job. How can we live without thoughts? We need to plan in the future, we need to strategize and all those things. So the simple difference is, it's not that you stop thinking. You don't get attached to unnecessary thoughts. You can still plan, you get clarity of thoughts, you get clarity of mind, you get that balance. And it's like there's an anchor inside you. So you are attached to a work, you're attached to a certain, let's say a certain project, you're doing a certain amount of work. And then end of the day, you need to come back to yourself saying that, okay, that's a slot that I've filled in. That's a part of the work that I've done, but it's not my life. I need to come back and bring myself into balance. And that's where Sahaja Yoga helps you, because there's a system inside you. As Smitaji were talking about, there's a system. It's like your roots. So when Kundalini rises, and I don't know if you probably got a chance to look at it. I'm sure you did. There are chakras, there are nadis, as we call them. It cleanses them. So it's like you're pouring water on the roots every day through your meditation. It is cleansing your system every day. It is bringing you back into the balance, and then you're ready for the next day. So you talked about material world. You talked about the thoughtless awareness. It's not that you next day stop thinking about money and all that. It's not that. But you don't get attached to these things. You need them. You need them for a certain way. They need to serve you, and that's about it. So system comes back to balance, and then you're able to do your whatever day-to-day things that you have to do, staying in this particular human life. So you don't need to change anything in your lifestyle. So nothing has to change there.
Nothing changes, but yeah, somewhere, because I dwell into, and I understand where you're coming from. Somewhere you're trying to say that you don't get rid of all your attachments, but you also develop a sense of detachment. So that means that there are certain things that you have to do, but you don't let those dictate you. You work as is required. Correct me if I'm wrong, Smitaji. The other aspect is of self-realization. How does one get associated? Is this a course? Do I have to pay for it? Or can I just come to the institute or just join? Take us through your journey also.
So self-realization in Sahaja Yoga is done by the grace of Shri Mataji Nirmala Devi. She started this in 1917 in India. And when we sit in front of Shri Mataji's photograph, we spread our hands like this and we ask Mother to awaken our Kundalini, which is our divine inner energy. And it awakens. And then, you as a result, you feel, it's a tangible feeling, as Harvinderji said. You feel it on your fingertips, you feel it on your head. Some people feel it within the subtle system, they feel different things. So every human being feels it differently, but there's always a tangible feeling. So you can come to the centers. We have centers all over the world. We have centers in India. you can go to our website, nirmaldham.org, and you can see where the centers are. If you cannot visit our centers, you can do it online also. You can, look at Shri Mataji's photo, open your hands, and ask Mother to give your self-realization. So that's how you can get your self-realization. And it is free. So there is no membership in Sahaja Yoga. There is no charge. I've been practicing Sahaja Yoga since I was in 8th grade. And
Wow.
I've never paid until now anything.
But how is it? How do you see yourself? And if I may ask you a little more, Smitaji, how do you see yourself different from those who don't practice Sahaja Yoga? You're living with them, you're mingling with them, you have your own life. How are you different, or how is it different?
Sure. So I'm in corporate world for almost 18 years now. And you know how corporate world is. It is so much stressful, right? You work endless hours. So how Sahaja Yoga helps me is I start my day with 10 minutes meditation. And you don't have to sit for hours or anything like that. You just have to sit 10, 15 minutes in the morning whenever you get time. So that, as Harvinderji said, that basically brings me to myself. And I'm my own guru. I don't have to follow anybody. I don't have to ask anybody, how my future is going to be or how my day is going to be. I can do it myself, feeling my subtle system on my fingertips. So it has really helped me. Believe me, I am not stressful at all. At the end of the day, I just meditate for 5-10 minutes and everything goes away. And again, you start your new day. And since you're in corporate world, you're managing projects and everything, you need to plan. You need to work with the team late in the night. You need to work with the client in the morning. But, it really helps. And I really want people to, come forward and try this. There is no harm in trying. It's free. It is not, it is not taking away anything from you. As Harvinderji said, you don't have to change any food habit, any lifestyle. You just do it as you are.
And how regular do you have to be, Harvinderji? And tell me about your experience and your involvement with Mataji, your engagement with her, and how would you remember her?
Anandji, my journey started about 17 years back. I was like many other people. I was a little critical about things in terms of and I've been actually trying to do a lot of things. People talk about spirituality and you try different things and you really don't understand the meaning of spirituality. I'm talking about myself, and I was trying to figure out what spirituality really means. Hearing out somebody, reading scriptures and all those things will not solve the purpose, because unless you really feel it. So I tried various different things. Then eventually I got into Sahaja Yoga. And to tell you the fact, because Sahaja Yoga is also, it has a lot of benefits towards the health. So I was kind of forced into it because my son, who's 19 today, he was 3 at that time. He was diagnosed with leukemia. And it was almost untreatable. We kind of circulated the whole report all over the world. My brother is in Melbourne. We showed some doctors over there, and they said it's a very young child. He is weak. We cannot perform normal process on him. So I was kind of cornered at that time. And then I met somebody. My wife was actually doing it Sahaja Yoga before me, in any case. And she's been kind of telling me to do it. And I said, okay, let the time come and I'll do it. But not today. So I've been kind of postponing that process. But when I was kind of forced to a corner because of my son, I started doing this meditation. And we are talking about vibrations. And, in day-to-day life, we talk about vibes and vibrations, but this is really tangible. When you start feeling this cool air, and this is a healing power of Sahaja Yoga. Sahaja Yoga has got many aspects, and one is the healing power. So when I started doing it, my wife was doing it, when we were actually passing on these vibrations to my kid, and he was actually back to normal within 3 to 4 months. The same doctors who looked at the report 3 or 4 months back, they could not believe it's the same child. And today is 19, he's doing very well, he's in college, and everything seems to be okay. So that's how my journey started. But with regular practice, as and when I started doing it, as Smitaji said, you need to do it every day. It's like, as I said earlier, you kind of water the plants for them to grow. You meditate for yourself to grow spirituality. And spiritual means actualization of spirit. So spirit, the word that we use in many ways, unless you feel it actually, it is not spiritual. And people use this word today, even in the parties and wherever you go in the social circle. But that's the actual meaning, what I really learned in Sahaja Yoga. So that's how my journey started. When I saw this tangible thing, then my journey stopped at Sahaja Yoga. I thought this is what I really need. I started doing it in the last 15, 16, 17 years, and everything, and I really mean everything, whether it's professional life, personal life, my emotional life, everything started changing, and it's changing today. I mean, the sky is the limit here. Every day you see transformation in yourself, and that's how the journey started, and that's how it goes.
It's an ever evolving process, isn't it? And once you get into the process, then you just want to dive into it a little more, and you just want to swim into that ocean a little more, because it just seems so tranquil when you practice it. But Smitaji, how many yoga practitioners are there in how many countries? What's the kind of spread that we're seeing of the practitioners?
So Sahaja Yoga is practiced in, I think, more than 150 countries right now.
Wow.
It is also practiced in, yes, Muslim countries like Turkey and, Middle East countries everywhere. And we have centers all over the world. These centers are free. You can see thousands of people, from different caste, religion, culture, coming together, meditating together, and all on the same page. So there is no argument about anything, because, if you have to ask about something, you can just spread your hands and ask your vibrations. And if you ask about a question, everybody's vibrations will speak the same. So this is really, really a nice thing, and it is very easy. I mean, simple. You don't have to, it is not complicated. You don't have to, learn Sanskrit, or you don't have to learn about our scriptures. It's Kundalini that will teach you as it goes up. It teaches you, it purifies you.
But how elaborate, how compact is the whole process, Harvinderji? Every day, how much time do you need to spend meditating? Is it a daily process? You do it a few days in a week? How does it work?
So Anandji, when you start this process, when you initiate it for the first time, you need to go through a certain process, because what happens is that there are chakras, or as we call them, energy centers, or in scientific language, we call them plexuses. Those need to be triggered. So that takes a certain amount of process, few steps, but that's only on the first time. Once that is triggered, your Kundalini has awakened. It goes through your last chakra here, and you start feeling that cool breeze in your hand and on top of your head. Now that's the first time. What happens is, as I said, it's a living process. If you don't follow it, it goes back to the sacrum bone, as you rightly said, right underneath your backbone, and then it settles down here. It is dormant, but it is not dead. It is dormant, and it's running your all the systems. So everything that is automatic, as science would call it, autonomous nervous system, it is running that system, whether it's your digestion, heartbeat, kidney function, you name it, everything in your system. But while it is dormant, it's doing that. So to keep it awakened, to make sure that this process is there, and then you reap the benefits every day, you just need to practice it every day. I would say it's totally up to you. It's totally your desire. Give it about 10 minutes. But what happens is, when you sit for the meditation, you are inundated with thoughts. It takes time for you to settle down. The good part about Sahaja Yoga is that you don't need to concentrate anywhere. So the moment you sit with your desire that I need to meditate, I need to connect with the higher force, the Kundalini starts rising automatically. It takes your attention to that level that don't need to force yourself to focus on something. So that's the best part. Usually meditation, the misconception about meditations are, you need to focus on a mantra, you need to focus here, you need to focus there, and you don't think. And when you try not to think, all sorts of thoughts come to you. So this takes you to that level where you automatically, slowly, you start getting away with those thoughts, and then you're meditating. Once you have practiced this for a while, I would say 10 to 15 minutes a day would suffice in the morning. And I do it before I go to bed for about 5 minutes. It again brings me back to the balance. But I would say on an average 10, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, if you do in a day, that's more than sufficient. And then again, there is no hard and fast rule. Best time is in the morning, because you're very fresh. You do your workout, you do everything in the morning because you're fresh. But if you kind of missed out, then don't kind of punch yourself saying that I've missed out the day. Do it in the afternoon. Do it before you go to bed, because it's all there in your system. It's yours. Just do it anytime, but try to do it every day. That's the best thing I would
say. So whenever you can take out 15, 20 minutes and you can put the practice into place, do it, but try and do it on a regular basis. So
best is to do it in the morning. Yeah. Best to do it in the morning, but if not, but you can do it
anytime. Best is in the morning. So Mataji's 100th birthday. There are celebrations across the board. So what's the message to the seekers, and what kind of celebrations, Mataji?
So we're celebrating her 100th birthday. We are doing open houses, where people can come and see what Sahaja Yoga is, what Shri Mataji did in her life, how she, spread this Sahaja Yoga. So her message was, she wanted each and every human being to at least get their self-realization, minimum of minimum. So we would, through this program, we would like to convey her message to all the seekers, all the people of this world, of India, that please come and get your self-realization. If you cannot come to center, you can visit our online websites. You can, attend it there, or you can just open Shri Mataji's photo wherever you are and, ask your self-realization. Get your self-realization, because this is the only way we can achieve peace within, we can achieve peace in the world. So this is what Shri Mataji wanted.
It's a phenomenal message. And final word, Harvinderji, the fact is that this cuts across all faiths, doesn't it? It crosses all theological boundaries, because it's just you with yourself. It's just connecting you with your own, what's there inside your body, the energy that's there inside your body.
You're right. And it's not, you don't have to be following a certain religion or a faith to do that. Sahaj means Sahaja, Sat Janma. It is born with you. It's your birthright. And yoga means union with divine. So anybody, whatever your background is immaterial. It is inside you. You have to do it for yourself. It is not an obligation, but you should do it, I would say. And just to add to the message, what Smitaji was saying, I mean, we know the world is all chaotic around us after the pandemic. We have these wars and everything else. It's all part of an internal system that is forcing human beings to do that. And the only way to transform yourself is getting transformed from inside. And all these things are affecting, you talk about mental health and all these things. And I know your channel covers that a lot as well in terms of mental health. And what is really happening is that the problem is inside, and what we're trying to treat the system, system from the outside, the symptoms from the outside. So Sahaja Yoga is treating you from inside. So I would say right from your internal transformation, peace, health, extending up to the issues which are external, it's all coming from inside. And I think once you start practicing it, I think it'll bring about a lot of balance inside and out in the outside world if we all do that. So that's the message I would say.
Yeah, it's a fantastic message, and it's a great concept, because it's very clearly steeped in science and rooted in science. And this is something which everybody realizes, that there is something that powers our systems. There is something, like you said, there are automative and involuntary aspects of our body which is continuously in motion, and there needs to be a battery or an energy source that's got to power that. And if you're going to activate that, and if you're going to realize that and use it to your full potential, then why not? Everybody needs that, doesn't it? Isn't it? Smitaji and Harvinderji, thank you very much, and all the very best to you and to the entire team at Nirmal Dham and Sahaja Yoga followers. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you so much for inviting us.
Thank you.